indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. Thank you dearly for joining me again. Another day. 737? Wow, crazy. Today's stream topic is, I don't know if it's a serious one, but it has a little bit of an air of responsibility attached to it, you know. This genuine responsibility that we as human beings, I believe, have to bring light into this world. Because there is technically a lot of darkness, right? On a metaphysical level, on a physical level, there's mostly void in this universe, and we get to be presence instead of void within this universe. And I feel we're probably going to see some whack stuff continuing into the future. You know, that is more likely than not. And the real crux of the problem, I believe, is going to be whether or not we can go through this insanity lovingly. Right? I'm gonna add a little windbreaker. It might make some noise, I'm sorry. It's definitely making noise. This is harder than I anticipated. There you go. Sicketh. Is that better? I hope so. Let me see. Joy V, Shannon, Brother Ryan too, even Corey. So much love to you, friends. It's so nice to have you here. I can do one tonight. There we go. Some meditations coming. I'm doing the best I can, Corey. It's comforting being here with you wonderful friends. I hope you are well, friend. I hope you're well. Shan, let me know what the audio sounds like right now, if it's too loud or too soft, because I have the microphone on that has a little bit more gain. So if it's too much, I can bring it down a little bit. Thank you for spending a moment. Today's stream topic was kind of inspired by a movie Brother Ryan suggested I watch. Yesterday, we kind of dove into the understanding I feel I was trying to get myself to really consolidate. This understanding that we're not supposed to, at least not supposed to continue to dominate our world, our Mother Nature, you know, for the resources that she provides, and we're supposed to listen to her instead, embrace her, you know, like a loved one, like a friend. And he suggested I watch this movie called Mother, and it's not a movie I'd recommend you'd watch. Very much not so. I feel like it's a little bit on the darker side of what we can create, right? But it was very much a reflection. That's where I think about content these days. Like everything we can see in content can be depicted as a reflection of a part of humanity, where humanity is right now, what it is we're going through, what it is we're struggling with on a conceptual level, and what it is we're supposed to move past, right? And it was this depiction of God. It's his need to be worshipped, mother as Mother Nature, attachment to the earth or a house, the place we live, and then finally humanity, right? And how humanity has this ability to be very destructive, especially in crowds. That we gather in crowds, and it's almost like there's some level of manic energy. It's like there's many of us that we can feel lost within the crowd. We can feel insignificant, and that feeling of insignificance can lead us to degeneration, right? Oh, if I'm insignificant, what's the point of anything, right? Should I be a good person? Should I show up for anything? Should I try and make this world a better place if there's so many other people trying to make it a worse place? And that's the core of what I want to share today is I watched this movie. I did, and it was extremely dark. I think maybe one of the darkest movies I've ever seen. I've never been that horrified. Never in my life have I been like in a state of sheer shock, like wanting to look away, wanting to not believe what I just saw. And regardless of the amount of darkness I exposed myself to, I'm noticing today how instead of perpetuating that darkness, instead of reveling in it, instead of pretending like that's my reality, I'm trying to do the opposite, right? I'm trying to take this dark experience as an opportunity to be light, an opportunity to bring a little bit more understanding into myself when it comes to the dark experiences we can have. And I feel like that is, weirdly enough, a very divine human trait. Dropping the love, friends. Love to you, Natalie. Thank you for joining me. Let me see if I miss anybody. Sam, it's nice having you here too, dear friend. Okay, there we go. It's fine. Audio is good. Great, thank you. We're doing bong hits this morning, dude. That sounds okay to me. Of course, Sam. There we go. I enjoyed Mother. I like strange movies. There's something wrong with you. I'm joking. There's nothing wrong with you. I can honestly say I did not enjoy Mother. It it like really touched on many things that bother me. Right? One of the things that bother me a lot about humanity is expectations. Especially how once you allow entrance into your life, into your home, into your way of being, for some reason, people become entitled. They believe they are deserving of more. All right, it's almost like if you open the tap, they want the tap open bigger, right? Sure, they can only drink that much water at a time, but they want to get absolutely blasted by the water, if this makes any sense. And it was this sheer and visceral, almost like self-reflection to I felt throughout the whole movie very identified with the mother character, weirdly enough. I didn't feel identified with the humans. I didn't feel identified with the God. I felt identified with the mother, and that was also a very surreal experience for me because I understood and I was trying to listen. I felt myself as a masculine individual, as the awareness, right? That there is this ceaseless, unchanging awareness inside of you. You have been this ceaseless, unchanging awareness since the day you were born, and you haven't been anything else. Sure, you grew up, you changed, the things you like and the things you do might have transformed, but you're still the same awareness. You're just aware of different things at this point, right? And I felt myself as this awareness becoming aware of patterns within myself, patterns within my family, patterns within humanity that I keep seeing, they're perpetuating over and over again. And then I was within these patterns just witnessing the destructive nature of not listening. Really, like how not listening to the ones you love will destroy your life, will destroy your home, will will ruin everything, to the point of hatred, hating each other, hating your own life, hating the people you spend time with, just because of unwillingness to listen to each other, unwillingness to listen to our earth. And like I've been watching a bunch of movies these days. We're kind of in this tangent, this trip of what are we doing to the earth right now, right? Why is it some people, even though they know we are going into potential darker times, why would they choose to make even more darkness? Why would they choose to sow even more division? Why would they choose to destroy instead of build? And I'm still trying to understand, and I don't know if I ever will, but I do believe the thing I'm supposed to understand from this whole topic is again this ability to bring light into darkness. That all of us are capable of anything, right? You can destroy if you wanted to. You can destroy yourself if you wanted to, or you could build yourself up. And it's hard. It's so hard. It's so easy to destroy something. It's significantly harder to build something. I think maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's an ease thing. How easy is it for you to build versus how easy is it for you to destroy? And then asking yourself, do you want to do what's easy or do you want to do that which is hard? For I am the one who chooses the effects I experience. I alone interpret all neutral relationships or experiences. I alone place value upon objects, things, thoughts, and belief systems. I alone am the literal creator of my own moment to moment experience. Of course, that's what I read after watching that movie. Because, in a way, the God character is the one creating this experience over and over again. He needs the feminine, right? He needs the mother to be the householder, right? We need, or, right, in the biblical understanding of God, God needed earth to make man because he made man out of the dust, apparently, right? So he needed earth in order to create man, but it's almost like he doesn't care about the earth. He just cares about man and, within the biblical context, man's ability to worship him, right? And to melt away the mother in this analogy, to melt away the humans in this analogy, and to bring it back to the I am, you are, right? Without a shadow of a doubt, you can be like, oh, I am. How about that? So I am the one who chooses the effects I experience, right? You could not be here right now. You could have stayed in bed. You could have stayed asleep. You could have not incarnated at all, ceased to be. I alone interpret all neutral relationships or experiences. I alone place value upon objects, things, thoughts, and belief systems, right? This little shtick, Melita, to another person, this is just a stick. To me, this stick has value because of the magic that I've attached to it. Belief system, the things I believe, the things I notice my family believing, and the value I place upon them, right? I can place the lack of value on a certain belief system as well. And then ultimately, I alone am the literal creator of my moment to moment experience. Daddy Chaser, Gustavo, thank you for joining me, friend, for sending some love. Yeah, yeah. We're going to continue heading into. Did I just. Oh, well. Guess it's going to be a little bit peppy flavored. There's peppy here in my water. Love you. Mm. Yeah. Be unique, be different, be you. Thank you, friend. I will. I promise. It is Darren Aronofsky. They're all pretty weird and good. Yeah, I think he was the one who made Black Swan as well. More weirdness. In order to appreciate the sun, we need to spend time in the shadows. Spring is so much more beautiful after a harsh winter. Yeah, exactly. Right? Infinite duality, but we do get to choose which part of it we want to be. We get to choose. We actually get to choose. Maybe that is what we're here for. Freedom. Right? Yesterday I kind of went into the trip that I can pick a blade of grass and eat it as the amount of freedom that this universe allows for. And that's something arbitrary and yet powerful. We can do so much more if we actually just listen to each other. Valued our environments, paid attention to our loved ones and their needs. Because even though you might be the literal creator of your moment to moment experience, so is everyone else, right? And sure, other people might be able to create a negative experience moment to moment. Even if you're trying to share a good one, at least you try to share a good one, right? Like you could be ranting about the hopefulness you have about the future of AI, and another person might be absolutely terrified. And even though you might be speaking from a place of enthusiasm, from a place of hopefulness, from a place of excitement, in that person's mind, because of the moment to moment experience they're creating, the moment to moment experience they have created before, they might interpret every single word you say as evil, as lost, as unaware. And to realize that we cannot necessarily shape the experiences others have. We can try. We can try to make it a loving one, to make it a beautiful one, to make it light. But it is going to be up to them whether or not they choose to see it. It's going to be up to me, up to you, whether or not you choose to see it. And it's difficult. You'll see it's difficult. Like the experience I had yesterday devastated me. I was like, how am I supposed to believe love is true about this experience? And I was like, well, the mother loved her child. She loved her home. She loved her husband, him. She loved working on herself as an analogy for the house. She loved. And on the other side, the God representation also loved humanity, loved to be worshipped, loved to feel important, loved to have conversations, loved to notice how every experience was different. You know, and it's weird because the show really touched on a bunch of things. One of the lines that he says is he writes a beautiful piece of poetry, and every single person who reads this piece of poetry experiences it differently, right? Creates a unique experience depending on who they are. And then the whole show kind of rolls around itself to depict a different experiencer who will in turn create a whole new thing. Like weirdly enough, the entire movie was a poem, was a simulacrum, was a cycle, was a self-contained loop that could potentially create something divinely new every single round over. And as a poet, as a creator, that is what you want to have. And it can't be enough. It is a ceaseless melting away and then recreating of the experience. And to realize that if we can have any experience, if we can be influenced in any way, we should try to have good experiences to influence each other in a positive way as well. And it's hard. It's really hard. I'm noticing, especially in myself, how I'm watching the cat climb the tree as well. Sorry for being a little bit distracted. She's up to some shenanigans. How there really is this possibility to, like just watching her climb that tree, for example, right? I can see how a part of me could be anxious about her climbing that tree, anxious about her falling down, anxious about her not being able to make her way back to the ground. But this version of me is just infatuated, giddy with the knowing that she's having the time of her life. Can you see her up there? Yeah, you can. What a silly kitty. Such a silly kitty. So yeah, okay. Enough. I've tripped out enough. I believe. Maybe I'll do it like this. In order to appreciate the sun, giving my dog a treat to be happy to be here. That's so nice. Friends, hello. Thank you for joining us. Shan, it's always wonderful to be in the space of the people who join us. This place also exists in our hearts, and we carry it with us when we show love, gratitude, and acceptance. It's all we have to do. It's all we can do, honestly, right? Because I wish, and we will eventually be a little bit more abundant, but we don't have the ability to free each other just yet, right? Like imagine if all of us were millionaires, right? Then if one of our friends weren't a millionaire, we would be able to, without a shadow of a doubt, help them have a better quality of life, right? In the financial context. But, and this is a big but, we are abundant right now, at least to some extent, with time, with love, with the freedom that we have to be in this moment again. And even though we might not be able to help each other as much as we would like to, right now, financially, we're giving the thing we do have, our love, our time, our gratitude. That is contributing to the wealth of this group. The understanding that we have that we're not alone, that we're not damned, that we're not lost, that this experience we're having as a collective is a worthy one, and that we're choosing to make it better instead of worse for each other. You friends inspire me. I'm intimidated by you even sometimes. You know, friends are powerful. Very familiar to my whole life view. Smile and allow the moment to be what it is. This is the way. Shroom-o, overdrive. Nice having you here again. Love you, friend. I know, Corey, I carry the space and all you friends. The love we share with me in my heart always. I'm just preparing for the things I'm going to have to do in the coming days. I've never had to dig a grave before. Hopefully it's not bad, Joy. It's the ground frozen right now. It's warmer, but the morning cold with the dusting of the snow. I'm so sorry, Shannon. There are no words to express that sorrow, that emptiness. It becomes a part of us. The scars that show we loved and we lived. I believe the same thing, you know, it's the same thing I've been saying over and over again this stream. It is what we see, right? What are we choosing to see? Are we choosing to see loss? Are we choosing to see pain? Are we choosing to believe that we are evil? Or are we choosing to see that we're trying to do everything we can from a place of love? Bringing love into this experience, that you can bring love into the experience even if it's painful. Especially, the responsibility falls on you to bring love into the experience when it's painful. The separation of character in mother is a metaphor for all parts of us that are not separate. The mother, the creator, the mother, the destroyer. Yeah, it's all us. It's all us. I think that is the joke. But it's still your choice of which part you want to identify with. Am I going to be a creator? Am I going to be a nurturing mother? Or am I going to be a destroyer? Realizing that all of those aspects of humanity are within each and every single one of us. And surely I'm a masculine identified individual and I do not have a womb, so I cannot birth a child, but I can place healing hands, right? I can work in service. I can be compassionate and soft. And in the same way, I can be a masculine creator, driven, manifesting something. And I can very much be a destroyer, someone that ruins the experience for others, ruins the experience for myself. And I've done all of those things, right? I think all of us have, at least to some extreme. And I've noticed that the choice really is easy. I feel the choice is easy, but it's not easy to continue making the choice, weirdly enough. You sure got a lot of feelings about a movie you didn't like. I like the fact that it made me feel things. That I like, right? And it's one of those movies that also keeps you thinking about it afterwards. which I both like and dislike. I like it for the fact that it's thought provoking and it makes me feel things and makes me consider, but I didn't like the context of what I was seeing. I got a ton of feelings about the movie. I don't like joy. Movies that I'm like, is that normal? I think so. What is it normal? Exactly. What kind of task can be therapeutic though? Digging through the pain. It's a task of love and reflection. No, it's one of the highest acts of love. Creating a final resting place with someone. Thank you, Corey. I agree completely. Friend. Joe Schmoes, you're two. Shanna, there's a rare and heavy honor that is coupled with preparing a final resting place for a loved one. My heart goes out to you. Thank you, Joe. We love you, friend. Focus on the loving nature of the work and not the inspiration for it. Exactly. Who needs tears? Joining us too. Love to you, friend. The abundance here. Rivals material wealth. Rivals, I would say, exceeds, right? You cannot pay to have this experience. Even if you wanted to pay me, I won't let you. It's free. It's for you. Always. And I'll keep giving it every single day, right? And I was really thinking about today showering. I had this experience of like, oh, this is the third year of me doing this. The second year of me potentially earning any capital. And I thought back to the first year where we didn't earn a single dollar, right? And I was like, holy shit, why did I do it like that? And I felt this deep recognition that if I had to be incentivized financially to show up in the way that I'm showing up right now, I wouldn't. You wouldn't be able to pay me enough money. Like, legitimately, would not be able to pay me enough money to want to do this every single day. And I was like, so if you cannot pay me enough money to do this every single day, then why am I doing it? And clear as day, the answer came back because of love, right? Because of you, dear friend, because of the love we get to share in this moment. Into infinity and beyond. Mikali fam, grandma for life van. Love you, friend. Thank you for joining us. Love you, kiddo. Love you. Love you so much. While I've yet to dig a grave, I've dug multiple graves in my life. I've had to bury more dogs than I would like to admit. Clara, a friend of my brother's, drove over her. Peppy, no, Kiki, my brother, drove over her. Bella, my mom, drove over her. Kiko, a snake bit him. Bingo, he died of old age. Flaky, he, I think he ate rat poison. And I don't know if I'm desensitized. I feel a part of me almost wants to pretend it didn't happen, all right? And I don't know if that part of me is living in denial or is so serious about what it is we're creating, right? Because yes, I had to bury so many of my beloved doggos, but that isn't the experience I'm going to be holding on to. That isn't what's important, right? What's important is the love that we shared with one another, the days we had, the scritches I could have given them. Every single time I would call them and give them something delicious to eat and the joy in their hearts when I do that, that is the stuff I'm going to choose to hold on to. And I can, like I did, cry my eyes out. Like specifically when Kiki died. Kiki was not even 9 months old when she died. She didn't even get to live her life. And that hurt me more than anything because of the perceived loss, right? And I had to. Otherwise, I'd still be crying to this day. I had to let myself realize that nothing can ever be lost. She's not lost. We don't get lost. We continue. We transform. We evolve. We change. and change is the only constant. So, again, am I in denial or am I in a deep place of acceptance? Realization, presence. It's hard and it makes me feel like an asshole sometimes. But I get too emotional if I don't allow myself some, what's the word? Compartmentalization, I believe. Losing people and animals, the grave. I've had to say goodbye to many people. I stopped counting after 13, and also the time I left high school. But I've become familiar with the process of losing people and animals. I've had to breathe sometimes. Hard to get out of bed, to carry on, but that's all we can do. We choose to do so. We honor those that we've lost exactly. Right? If you let your own life go, if you choose to live into a place of sadness, of deep, disappointment, of just living, then that is going to be your experience. Right? Of all of the experiences you can choose to create, try. Try to create a loving one. Try to recreate a memory of the ones that we've lost. And as Corey beautifully said, honor them. Honor them. Honor them by living. Honor them, each other by continuing this existence instead of letting ourselves go, letting the existence go. Love you, Joe. Love you, Shan. We love you so much, friend. It hurts me. Like I'm not having a good time thinking about this shit right now. Same here, strangely though. The experience of so much loss. I haven't learned how to ride the emotions and see around the events that normally surround a death. A bittersweet blessing. Learning from the agony and embracing the lessons of loss. These are not easy, but they are helpful. Bittersweet is how I try to sum up life in a word. It's the only word that I can think of that's fitting enough. We often get what we want, but never realize the true cost, the pain with the joy. Death is inevitable. That's the kind of perspective my mind takes as well sometimes, is that the bittersweetness of it comes from this unwillingness to see it for what it is. Right? You can only suffer that which you don't know, that which you don't want to believe. Sorry, friend. Do people in Australia casually call people to see what I hear? They do it as like I finally think. Do people in Australia casually call people the C word I hear in Australia? I don't live in Australia, dear friend. I live in South Africa, so I wouldn't even be able to tell you. Apparently, it's not seen as that bad of a word. It's just another thing. I don't use it personally. Well said, no you, Joe. I wish you a day of beauties you can find. It's not desensitization. It's knowing the feeling that these events inspire and create a secure place for those emotionally overwhelming events. We hold our memories in the safe room as well. It helps us maintain a balance and control over reactions to these devastating events. Yeah. And I really noticed that with the passing of grandma and grandpa last year. How grandpa passed away, which was very unexpected because my grandma was fighting Alzheimer's for months, years at that time. And we saw her degenerate. We saw her lose herself. She started cursing like a pirate, which was very odd. And she would like lose her mind seeing me because she would look at me and she would see my dad as a young man and she would call me Chris. And I'd be like, "Nee, oma, dis Estian. Chris is Cian." And she wouldn't understand what I was saying to her. She would just see a version of me, my dad, young, strong, capable. And then it would become this reflection of what happened to me as a self, as my grandma. Why am I having a hard time right now? Why can't I remember? Why do I not know where I am? And my grandpa was taking care of her throughout all of this. And then he died first. And he died on the Saturday morning, 4 o'clock. And me and my friends, before knowing this, decided that Saturday, they came over the weekend, and we decided that weekend we're gonna have a mushroom trip. So we took some mushrooms, and we were coming into the experience, and I hear my dad coming over to the place we were sitting, and he tells me my grandpa had died. And it was the first family member I've ever lost. And it felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be to receive that news, on a physical level, on a mental level, especially with the psychedelics. It was almost like I was open enough to accept the news without seeing it as wrong, if that makes any sense. I saw it as life, right? Oh, someone chose to live. That means they also chose the eventuality that they will die. And I could be with that. And I cried. I accepted. I thought about my grandpa a lot. And then a few months later, grandma died as well. And there was again this feeling of, weirdly enough, gratitude. Bittersweet can, I guess, be another way to say it, but I was grateful that she no longer had to suffer her body, right? Because that's not who she was, never was. None of us are our bodies. We are the observer, the one that is aware of this body, the one that's aware of our thoughts, the one that's aware of our feelings. It doesn't make our body any less valid, doesn't make our thoughts any less valid, doesn't make our feelings any less valid, but it is something you're aware of. You are creating that experience. And again, from this perspective of loss, I didn't feel my grandma lost anything in dying. I didn't feel grandpa lost anything in dying. Honestly, I feel they gained freedom. They gained space, they gained enlightenment, could be another word. They gained space, infinity, right, by letting go of the body. And then Kiki died. And I couldn't. From a selfish place, accept that she gained anything. I could only see the loss of the life that she had lived, the life that she could have lived. And it's devastating me just thinking about it right now. There is no loss. And holding on to someone, something, even when we know there is suffering, can be very selfish, right? So selfish can we be that we'll ask a loved one to keep holding on, even in their suffering. And they will. I think that's the worst part, is they will hold on. They will continue suffering for as long as you ask them to. Who are you to say that the experience you're asking them to suffer through is any more worthy than the experience they'll have when they stop? Who are you to believe that when they die, it's a bad thing, right? Instead of they're stepping into light. It's hard. I'm tripping out just thinking about it. Mr. Weirdo, love you, friend. Things balanced, everything. Though my heart is heavy, I refuse to let it make me sink. Trying to see this celebration, it's just my first time. We're here with you for a chan. We're not saying you're doing something wrong. I think we're all feeling into this topic right now. Identify, isolate, analyze, and categorize. Yeah, compartmentalize. Having to do this with a fur baby. It's true. Joe Bud, I'm on my own trip of grief and loss, and your perspective is a helpful one. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for reading, Sam, for listening, dear friend. I'm glad it made a bit of sense. It does. How now know that they're with us in the world in an in of ideal form. In the world in of ideal form. I don't know what that's supposed to mean though, but I'm guessing you're saying they're still with us in a form that is not the world, right? Not embodied necessarily. My heart weeps deeply for you, Shannon. I know your pupper was very special to you. This is a celebration, and remembering the times we shared with them, while painful to do, helps us appreciate. I think your comment got cut off. Appreciate how much they showed us and taught us. People don't often understand how much an animal means to us. They're a blessing, genuine angels. I think of them as angels. You know, they protect our space. Like Pippi, if someone comes around the corner, she'll start barking at them, keeping me safe as well. Some fur to be made into a pendant, planting flowers over his grave, will make into my own home garden remedy. That sounds amazing. Draw a story in here too. Joe says, death is a celebration for the passing of the physical struggle that faced our loved ones. Yeah. There is no loss. They gain freedom. Maxine comes to my mind right now. And I believe it's a Ram Dass quote that she quoted as well, that death is like taking off an old, tight-fitting shoe. Right? Those beings have grown out of their bodies and they have gone on to the next step. And I don't know anything. I don't know if there is a heaven. I don't know if there is going to be an experience worth having at the other side of life. But I know that the experience of life was had. And I know that this was a worthy one. So they died for a moment. They lived for a lifetime. Right? Oh, okay. Unconditional love. There you go, Joe. I agree, Joe. The world of ideal form is what made the most sense to me of the phenomena of death, for example. Maybe this is a sign to see my dad's friend last night. Well, it was a gift, his love, even though he is gone now. Your dad, your dad passed, I'm guessing, and you met your dad's friend. At least that's the way I'm interpreting your message, Dry. It's trippy that you went through the same thing recently, dude, or at least this topic is so serendipitous. I appreciate you and sharing such comfort words. Thank you. We're living memorials and we can choose to suffer this reality or we can embrace it and become a breathing and growing honorarium to extend the lessons we learned from our loved ones. We are the obituaries personified. Shan, you got this, friend, and luckily you aren't alone. We love you. Don't mean to bring the vibe down, Mel. It's okay, Shan. We don't have to have up vibes all the time. There she is. Maxine is here too. Love you, Maxine. No, Shan. I needed to arrive to this. It made me realize everything is going to be okay. Exactly. I agree as well. Right? Like, there is no experience more worthy than any other experience. That it's okay for us to feel sad about things as well. It's okay for us to consider death. It's okay for us to ask these questions, to notice how they make us feel. No life, no experience, no event is any more worthy of any other life, experience, or event. Life is. Things are just happening, always, right? And then we tell ourselves a story about what it is that's happening. And sometimes we tell ourselves good stories, sometimes we tell ourselves stories of separation, of fear, of loss. I feel like it's a good reminder. Thank you, Shan. You're not bringing down. I'm personally honored that you want to share. It's a sign of growth and health to share. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you, friends, sharing that love. You can't bring us down. We're uplifting you up. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. It's good. Good morning, Beansy. Thank you, Joe. Love you all. Love you all so much. Thank you for echoing that sentiment of love. It's hard. It's hard sometimes. Accepting this experience for what it is. The thing that's coming to my mind right now is the truth of death being a lie, right? Because I still believe the truth is love. And even though it's true, we will die, and it's true, things do die, love, life is still the winning force, right? Like one of my favorite things to share. Hey, a gun 'em. Look at this. Look at all of that, right? So within this frame that I'm showing you, friends, right now, they were like organisms on this grass, crickets and stuff that got eaten by birds, sitting on these lines. This tree got itself wrecked. This whole piece of the tree died. Organisms, microorganisms, macroorganisms, cattle, deer, lizards, mice. An infinite amount of death has occurred in this space. Think about that. Like, I'm saying infinite from the perspective of it's unfathomable. You know, over the last 4.5 billion years of our planet, things have lived and died multiple times over here. And yet, as you look into this space, you don't see death, you see life. Sure, this whole branch is dead, but there is life. Sure, thousands of things have died on this grass, and yet, life. So much freaking life, it's crazy. Shad, the space. There we go. Yeah, my dad's been gone for most of my life, but I've been missing him a lot. And I was given the chance to see one of my dad's good friends, a safe person, get a hug. It was like his love was there. Imagine, dude, like your dad's friend probably had parts of your dad in him, right? And I think of from this perspective of my friends, you friends, like Christian specifically right now as well, how the way he has shared with me, the person he has been in my life, has transformed me. And in the same way, your dad and your dad's presence in that friend's life has changed him as well. And your ability to embrace that man is, at least in part, embracing your dad. Thank you for sharing that, dry historian. Shan, this is why the space exists, to help us share the good and the bad. Remember, my scars make me beautiful. There we go. Thank you so much, friends. You have indeed felt a great loss, but love is a form of energy that swirls all around us. Their love for you has not left the world. It is still inside your heart and is reborn as a new love. It is not only reborn as a new love, but it is there when you think about it, right? If I think about the good times, the love me and Kiki shared with one another, there it is, all right? There it is. If I think about her death, there it is. It's what I choose to think about. It's what I choose to bring into my mind, to simulate, to create my own moment to moment experience. Today, I'm going to create a place in the dirt and transplant my baby herb to their new home. I have seeds from a bunch of new medical herbs that I've never tried growing before. I'm excited, Joe. New life. Sounds amazing. I can tell, even begin to express how grateful I am for each and every one of you here with me through this process. Truly all angels and blessings. I love you all so deeply. We're here with you, Shan. You'll be okay. This too shall pass. I'll die one day, right? I'm gonna die one day. Yeah, I look forward to it even. I don't want to, but it is going to be a whole new adventure. And I can trip myself out about being scared of that. And I do, right? I do want to live for longer than a normal human life, but I'll still die. I do exercise and I eat well and I fast and I drink water as my primary liquid, and I sleep at appropriate hours, and I wake up to get myself some early morning sunlight, and na 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 na, and I'll eventually get into gene editing and all of that ridiculousness, and then still I'll die. And we're gonna have to be okay with that. All of us will. And I know this might be uncomfortable to even think about. Some of us refuse to. Some of us are so scared of thinking about these things that we would just rather not. We would rather go through our entire lives not thinking about these things. But we have for a long time. Memento mori. Remember death. That monks in the mountains wake up every morning and they consider their own death for, I think, something like 15 minutes. Just think about yourself for 15 minutes a day. And then from that place forward, you can choose how you want to live, right? If we are gonna die, how do we want to live? Really? Do we want to live in fear? Do we want to live in hatred of one another? Do we want to continue perpetuating this mindset of separation? Or do we want to integrate, unite, let go of our sense of separation? Listening to the sounds, feeling the wind on my skin, seeing. Tastes like nothing. Tastes like toothpaste, actually, a little bit. If not for love, nothing. Right? That if love was not true, you would not be experiencing anything at all. You would not even be able to experience loss. Absolutely beautiful. Always like cartoons more than live action and TV shows. I also prefer cartoons these days, Corey. Lightheartedness. Have you seen Inside Job? Medical herbs, hey Joe, just actual medical herbs. Like my Afghan there's like my Afghan tomatoes, Joe. No, he shared yesterday as well. Sam, the simplest sources of information, cartoons, childish, children's books, can carry some amazingly profound lessons. Hilda, like if you want to watch something technically made for kids, but very beautiful, watch Hilda. It's also amazing. Avatar, The Last Airbender, taught me so much about my spirituality and my beliefs about the world. Me too, interestingly enough. I love that one. Sam, yarrow, and lemon balm, and white sage, holy basil, calendula, chamomile, anise, anise, lava, lavage, and hyssop. A few more. No, million, interestingly enough, Joe. Those sound like good ones, though. Avatar has some beautiful lessons in it. It does. Recognizing death is something that makes me have an extreme amount of empathy and make sure I give people love as much time as I can, even in some end up not deserving it. Yes. Yes, right. And like the other side, the pity, the self-pity, childish self-pity, to imagine ourselves dead, right? And then seeing our family members, our friends, crying next to our graves, wishing they shared more love with us, wishing they were nicer to us, wishing they reached out more. Oh, if only I so and so, maybe then this person wouldn't be dead. What is that? What is up with that self-pitying, self-imagining our own deaths? Right? Like I think that's the thing that's really fascinating to me is that we do that. I used to do that a lot as a depressed teenager, where if I go through some sort of event where I didn't get my way or people didn't value me as an individual as much as I thought they were supposed to, I would have suicidal ideations. and then continuing the imagination of, yeah, if I'm dead, then they'll know, right? Then I've showed them. The only way to show them is to live. You need to live. Dying is not the way forward, friend. It's the way to get away. Dry, yeah, man. I just gotta give them all the love that you can while you can. Exactly. Instead of imagining yourself dead and then imagining how all of your friends and family members wished they sent more love to you, take that as your responsibility. Elizabeth, thank you for joining me. Take that as your responsibility. Be the one that shows up in love, right? Be the one that does the thing you wish they did if you were still alive. It's really that easy, even though it is hard. And as you said, some people might not deserve your love. Hey, Joel, thank you for joining us, friend. But you still get to share love. You're not at a loss. Never at a loss when you choose to share love instead of fear, right? Because it is a personal process. You are the one experiencing the things you create. So, what do you want to create? Really, what do you want to create? Actively asking ourselves that question every single day. What do I want to create? I finally did a contract with a friend of mine who passed away in 2009. I've been trying to build a connection with him, and since then, there's been things moving in my home. It's an interesting thing to invite into your house, Maxine. I hope you want that, dear friend. Is that something you want to create? Wanting to know. I personally wouldn't like any experiences like that. Like if some ghosts walk into my house, even if it was a long lost and passing away friend, I'm gonna kick some ass, right? Square up, ghosts. It's my dear friend Ken. Yes, he's something I want to connect with. Okay. The other question, Maxine, is are you causing him suffering? Like literally dragging him back, kicking and screaming from his rest. Maybe things are moving in your house because he's angry and he is very upset about you dragging him back. I'll be doing another meditation tonight if anyone is interested. I think it'll be similar to the last one I did, if that's okay with who were there. Thank you. Damn Melt, you aren't at a loss sharing love instead of fear. Yeah, I believe that. I honestly do. Right. And I noticed that within my experience in China, especially, where I got taken for a ride, right? $10,000. I'm just unpaid for that amount still to this day, right? And there was like a part of me that was like really getting into it, of like anger, of like, I'm not gonna continue working for this person because she hasn't paid me. And still, I chose to show up in love with the kids, right? Even though I was like month after month, $1,000 out, $1,000 out, $1,000 out. I was like, I can live into fear. Oh, what am I gonna do if I don't get this money? Or I can show up in love. And even though I still am unpaid to this moment, the love I shared isn't lost, right? I still shared that love. It will forever be that way. And I can forever remind myself that I showed up in love instead of fear, instead of anger, instead of, hatred. I'll be doing another meditation. Okay, one, sorry. Correct, Corey, absolutely. I tend to keep spirits at arm's length for those reasons, Melty. I believe that, right? Like, everything exists with infinity. And to drag a spirit from their resting place into the physical realm of existence can cause, certain levels of separation, right? Instead of realizing that friend is here with you ceaselessly and always, we drag them here because they're not here right now. He's also showed up in my psychic readings. I'm not causing him suffering, and he's not in a bad place. He's watching over me. asking, Maxine. Right? You know me. I'm definitely not the type of person who's just gonna agree. Be like, yeah, do whatever. I'm gonna be like, but why? Hmm? Why are you doing that? And then whatever your answer is doesn't really matter, right? I can learn from your answer, but what's most important to me is you asking yourself why, you feeling into your own heart, what is the reasoning for your behavior? Why are we doing the things we're choosing to do? Do they serve us? Do they serve us? Because I also believe I have guides, Maxine. I call mine angels, right? And they usually show up in synchronicity when it comes to like synchronous numbers. I can feel myself protected and I can see these white hazes in my room sometimes. And then I know I am under protection or whatever. But I never have to call for it. It just is, always. You are ceaselessly protected. Otherwise, you would have dropped dead by now, right? Love still is true after all. Corey, love is true to Gary. Yeah, exactly. Corey, I will most definitely be there. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for showing up, Shan. You could be inviting demons in your house. You don't know what is coming through. Yeah, yeah. And being possessed by a demon or having a demon in your house could be an experience worthy of being had. Who am I to say, right? The pain, the discomfort, the fear you might even feel might be something you want to feel. Right, thinking about the movie I watched last night. I don't know if I was scared. Maybe a little bit. I was scared for her well-being. I was scared for the baby. Uh, I was uncomfortable watching things happening. And yet, surely the movie grossed $44 million. Other people wanted to see that as well. So the experience was worthy of being had. And even though that's true, I don't want to have it again. Right. So, yeah, choosing which experience you want to have. Definitely need that reminder. Thank you for reminding yourself. Could you use your stream, YouTube, Twitch, or Discord? I think he's using Discord right now. There's no dragging going on. He's coming to me. The only reason why I'm trying to connect is because he's showed up multiple times. I'm not inviting anything with lower level energy into my home. My home is protected as well as myself. I believe you. We're just asking, Maxine. We're just asking. We're curious and we care about you, right? If we didn't care about you, we'd just be like, yeah, 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 yeah. You do your thing, Maxine. Yeah, fine. But that's not who we are. That's not who we are. Right now, I'm just doing Discord chats. Once I get more comfortable, I might start streaming. I want to, but I'm enjoying the Discord chats at the moment. What you feel comfortable with, dear friend? Melting Discord, I think so. It's been my experience. I'll post in the Discord after night. Thank you. It's been my experience. The demons are like water, and they will seep through any open door, guarded or not. We're just concerned for your safety, Maxine. Demons can only hurt you if you fear them. This, I believe, as well, that you are this ceaseless source of light shining out, right? And I've had this, Maxine, just so that you know, I believe there are demons everywhere. I believe I'm actively fighting demons. And before I went to Christian's place, I shared with you friends this dream I had where everywhere in the universe, right, there was darkness. And this darkness was encroaching on me. And I could see these demon faces coming closer to me and stuff. And I tried to fight them physically. I was like, oh, fuck it. And I would be fighting on this side, pushing them back. And then from this side, they would be encroaching on me. And then I would turn around and fight them in this direction. I would fight them in this direction. And I felt myself losing. I was like, they're everywhere and they're encroaching on me. How am I supposed to escape them? And then I sat down and I realized inside of me was this source of light emanating. And when I realized there's a source of light emanating inside of me, I connected to the understanding that light emanating from a source, travels away from it at the speed of light. And then when I connected to the understanding, like shrapnel, the light inside of me exploded out so fast that like particles, like bullets, shot through these demons to the point where they got decimated, melted out of infinity, out of the universe. So yeah, you are light, nothing can encroach upon you, but you can invite things into your home, right? And that's what you're saying to us, Maxine. So that's why we're coming from, I believe. I totally understand. I don't normally connect with spirits. He showed up 2 different readings with 2 different people. Yeah, doesn't mean you should be inviting him in. I like weirdly enough, Maxine, I would take that as an extreme red flag, right? Because why would he come to you in readings when he's already passed? Like, if he passed happily, if he's resting in peace right now, he would continue to rest. And unfortunately, this is something that I feel is a little bit woo woo and misunderstood as well. But there are entities other than us in this universe. There are. There's still you. That's the joke. That is the joke. There's still the same consciousness, right? Embodied in different fractals. But not all of them have good intentions. In the same way, not all humans have good intentions. In the same way, not all dogs are loving. Not all of these entities have good intentions, and they can manipulate. They can give you information that feels significant, that feels true as a means to manipulate, right? They can even be beings of light. They can be beings of light and still have weird intentions for you, because embodied existence, right? Being a body, being Maxine, is powerful. And if you stop being embodied and you're living in the spirit realm, you want to have your will acted out, right? And they do that through humanity, right? Like you can argue that's where the darkness of humanity comes from. When the darkness that is within the infinity becomes expressed through humanity. And we have to invite it in for that darkness to become expressed. It's a it's a process of letting go of your own will for the will of something else. And sometimes something else's will can be very convincing. I try to leave the spirits be, same. I love them so much and I just want them to be free. They come to visit when they have something to say, and I listen when we interact, but I don't leave my doors open. It's like a floodgate when you make an invitation. Yeah. Yeah. And weirdly enough, Maxine, this whole topic is something we talked about at the start of the stream. The movie I watched yesterday, the whole experience, the whole clusterfuck, excuse my language, happened because he invited one person into the home. One person. The whole movie's chaos happened because he invited one person into the home. And then one person turned into 2 people, and then 2 people turned into 4, and then 4 turned into 50, and then 50 turned into so many people in the home that they were literally ripping the walls apart. Yeah. Crystal! Nice having you here. Youngie, Yano. I don't know if you're still here, but love to you too. Can be a sound, a big hurry. Yeah. Also, my spiritual teacher says he will come over anytime I feel something in my home. You see, that concerns me. That concerns me extremely. Now you're going to invite another person into your home because there's already things inside of your home. Like, now you need someone outside of yourself to ensure the safety of yourself, which should be ensured just by you. Like, I'm tripping out right now. I will come if I feel something is at my home. He will be able to tell if something is attached to me. My last healing session, the first, Ken also showed up. People come to others from the others because they watch over others. There's nothing to be feared when talking with them. There are ways to be careful about this process. I get you, Maxine, but if you have to be careful when you do something, that's like building bombs, right? When you're building bombs, you have to be careful, but you're still building a bomb, right? Inviting spirits into your home. Even if you're careful, you're still inviting spirits into your home, right? That's what you're doing. So even if you're careful, you've still built the bomb, right? And who knows? Maybe you do something that the spirit doesn't like. Maybe Ken wants you to live a certain way, and you have your own divinity. You have your own choice of living, right? And maybe Ken knows something that you don't. Maybe he's wise. Maybe he knows if you do this certain thing, it's going to create some sort of suffering, some sort of discomfort. And now you listen to him and you never experience that discomfort. You never experience that suffering. And as a result of that, you never get to grow past that point. You never get to experience the fullness of what your life could have been because you listen to something that is going to save you some sort of suffering. And then on the other side, if you choose to embrace the suffering, the pain that is a part of life, this spirit might be angry at you for not heeding its will after you invited in asking for help. Right? So it is a slippery slope no matter how I look at it. I am so sorry. I can't accept it, but I do accept you, right? I want that to be painfully clear, Maxine. You are perfectly accepted into this space. I don't know enough about the vastness of spiritual travel and transfer of information, so I don't play with it. What Melt is talking about is called a familiar spirit, a thing that will take on a form of a loved one energy to gain access through living being. Yeah, and that shit happens, yo. A spirit that is resting may come to the living in those in need, but they have to ask before they can enter the physical realm, as far as the light souls are concerned anyway. She was a chaos demon that got invited in. She was a chaos demon that got invited in, Mother. A chaos demon. She was a chaos demon that got invited. You talk about the Eve character, like Adam and Eve characters. Not exactly sure. Mel, that's a really good analogy. It is like building a bomb. That's the way I'm seeing it, at least. If you view talking with your past loved ones as building a bomb, then fear will be brought in and take away from the connection. They're here to help us. They're not, though, Maxine. They're not separate from us. But if they were here to help us, they would still be here, embodied in physical form, right? And I can believe my grandma is still looking down on me. I can believe grandpa is still looking down on me, but I'm not going to ask them for help because they did help me, right? If not for their existence, I wouldn't be. If not for Ken's existence, you wouldn't be the way you are right now because he was in your life. He influenced you. He helped you be who you are right now. But then from his own divinity, right? And I do believe this, as a divine being, he chose to move on. And I feel like it's almost again a selfishness to believe he didn't make the right choice. And if he wanted to stay here and help you in the physical realm, he would have. I don't, there's no fear. There's no fear. At least that's what I believe. I'm not talking about a sense of fear. I'm talking about a sense of what's right, what's fair more than fear, right? Like I'm thinking as a spiritual being, I have access to infinity, and then, as you mentioned, you're not dragging him, but then I get manifested, summoned, right, into the realm of being, and I'm like, whoa, and surely someone can ask me to be helping them, and I might want to, I might be willing to, but if that process perpetuates, you're interrupting my calm, you're interrupting my peace. And it can happen even in physical embodiment, Maxine, right? Think about that. Think about if he was a physical person, right? And you were to call him over to your home at random times, right? Not only would he have a whole existence, a whole life, like his own food, his own willingness to entertain himself, his own willingness to go and have conversations with other people. Now, against his will, he's being called to be with you, in that moment, right? And instead of living, experiencing the infinity that he chose for himself. Like that's the way I'm interpreting right now. Mm, here to help us. Also, to be fair, movies dramatize the hell out of spiritual experiences. This is true. The movie I watched last night wasn't anything spiritual though. Very much physical, right? The movie goes, uh, a woman wakes up. You watch this house get unburnt. Hey, Crystal, I'm doing well, thank you, friend. How are you? You watch this house rematerialize, remanifest itself, and then this woman, mother, Jennifer Lawrence, rises up from it, and she spends some time with her husband, and then someone knocks on the door, and then he invites this person into their home to live there, and then this person invites his wife, and then they live there, and then the wife doesn't call their son, so their son shows up at the home, and then after their son shows up at the home, the other son shows up at the home as a Cain and Abel kind of representation, and then Cain kills Abel inside of the home, and then the husband leaves with the family, the son passes away, and then they invite the entire family to mourn the passing of Abel, right? And then they basically break a part of the home and they get sent away. And then the woman becomes pregnant, has a child. The dude gets inspiration, writes something beautiful, becomes popular. People loving his work start showing up at the home, and then he tells them again they can come inside. And then more and more and more and more of them come inside to the point where they start destroying the home, ripping the walls apart, stealing the cutlery so they can have a part of that soul, of that mother, of that body, right? Literally taking parts of that body to the point where they kill the baby and eat it, actually, right? And it's sure a dramatization, but that's also the Christian story, right? That is our humanity. That is where we are as a species, and that is the thing we're going through as a collective right now. We are ceaselessly participating in patterns and cycles, right? Marcus Aurelius has this beautiful quote that goes something like, "You live 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years. You will not see a new thing under the sun." Humans keep repeating themselves. Delight, not having you here. So we get to choose what cycles we want to participate in. Not the conversation, Beansy. It's the pathway to getting there that holds the danger. I respect that's your view, Melty. I've been taught otherwise, and I will call on my ancestors and past loved ones for help. Thank you for your presence, perspective. Thank you for yours, Maxine. It's like a hallway of doors, and you know that the spirit you want to talk to is on the other doors, but you have to talk down that hallway and knock on a bunch of doors before they answer. It's not always the ones you want the answer, not always the ones you want that answer the door, and they can pretend that they're the ones you want as well. When you have to, then you have to close that door before you open another one. But sometimes people don't close the doors behind them, so potentially open a hallway full of partially open doors. There is no against his will, Melty. He is coming into my home. How can you know, Maxine? That's again the question. Angel up, brother. Thank you. You could, okay, could you at least point the camera at your face and not your chin? Unfortunately, this is the box I have. If you want to see my full face, I have to move back a little bit, or you can join me on YouTube. I'm sorry, right? If I angle up, the other camera angle is completely wrecked. Yeah, for some reason, YouNow really has a bad way of doing video. I don't know why they just don't do vertical. It bothers me, but it's okay. So just to perpetuate or to complete that loop that I was here talking about is how do we know? How do we know it's not against their will? Because their will was to die, right? That was his will. Because within infinity, there are an infinite amount of lifetimes where he didn't die, right? And think about that, an infinite amount of lifetimes, right? That he didn't die. And within this reality, it was his will to pass away. You're saying I have killer dimples as well? Yeah, my biologies. Apparently, that's a genetic defect. Like I have a lack of muscles in this part of my face, and then it creates a concave. Yeah. It gets messy. The only spirit I ever talked to in any way is my dad, but it would let me make my own decisions. So I would ask and just tell him I need love and that I love and I miss him. When you go digging, you inevitably find things. Mau, three hellos slowly floating by. Thank you for joining us, Hoopy. Right dry. I talked to my friend Ken and my grandma. There's an entire population that talks with their past loved ones and establish their connections. I agree. I agree, Maxine. But you did mention now things are moving in your apartment. And I feel that's where the red flags start going off. Not so much with the talking to your loved ones, right? Like, even though I don't do that, I do understand that because they're no more than a thought away in the same way. Ken is no more than a thought away. And you can spend time with him just by thinking about the moments that you've had together as well. Regressive genes for the win. Recessive genes for the win. Thank you, friend, for the love. Eat baby, eat baby cycle of the world. What world you know? Dude, the Christian religion literally once a week eats the flesh and drinks the blood of Jesus. Right? The baby that was given, God's baby that was given to humanity. Right? That is the world we're living in. Oh, that's literally what they do. Best not to tempt the other side back. The other side is there, right? If you really want to go and like experience the other side, you can. You can smoke DMT. And if you don't want to smoke it, learn how to breathe. Do breathwork exercises. You'll see the other side. You'll see entities that seem to be outside of your consciousness. Entities that embody a type of existence that is so far beyond what we consider human, and yet is so familiar, eerily familiar. And they want us to be there. They long for us. They miss us. They know us. They celebrate you when you come back. And when you go back, there is this visceral sense of, oh, this place. I've been here before. I've been here before. I've been here before. Why is this so familiar? Because it's you. It's where you're from. It's where you're gonna go back to. I hear Mel, I love you, Hoopy. Just be careful out there. I can also ask you the same, Melty. How do you know? I don't. I don't. I really don't. What makes your perspective and viewpoint more accurate than mine? I follow multiple people who talk to the past loved ones and get information. I hear you, Maxine. My point is, and this is I'm not right, but this is what I believe, and this is the lesson I teach. This is why I show up every day, Maxine, is that you do not need anything outside of yourself, right? All of the information you're looking for is inside of you. That's what I keep saying, right? You don't need a savior. You don't need an old friend to talk to. You are that. You are Ken, Maxine. You are your grandma. You are this planet. It is you. There is no separation. That's right. There we go. The more I search, the more I find there is only the I consciousness, right? And that I consciousness knows everything, is the infinity itself. Yeah, magic mushrooms are rad. They can be. The egg, the light, they can be. I don't know if it's necessarily something everybody is ready for, but they really can be. Lived in a Rajasic planetary bubble means energy goes up and down, dying. Yeah, Rajasic, the want to do things, like this drive. And the other side, I follow the people who actually have information about the exact experience. I know Ken is coming to me. I hear you, Maxine. It's not outside of you though, right? But you are the literal creator of your moment to moment experience. Even if you're having the experience of Ken being there with you, that's you. That's you doing that. And there are parts of you, right? There are parts of me that is capable of extreme heinous shit, all right? But I don't have to be that part of myself. I don't have to invite the parts of myself back that have decided to die, all right? It's just thermal dynamics, man. What? Thermodynamics? What? Uh, I have no doubt that Ken is visiting you. It's something else following him is my question. Expecting a good day, weekend, not a thing for me. I agree. Not doubting the connection, just playing devil's advocate about spiritual communication. Yeah, and again, as soon as we get into dogma, as soon as we get into separating ourselves from the information, as soon as we tell ourselves that there is something, in this context, Ken, coming into our home to give us the information, I believe that is the problem, right? Because there is no something else. There is you. There is I consciousness, aware of everything, right? That this tree is also an eye. It's aware. It's aware. If I start drilling holes into it, it's going to be in a state of discomfort. It's going to be aware of the discomfort I'm causing it, right? And it's existing. It's existing a part of a system, a part of a whole that you're existing a part of as well. There is no separating ourselves. We are the creators of our moment to moment experience. I have never had anything move, sounds and lights flicker, but that's it. And not all the time, and not much. I don't think my dad's trying to scare me. He's my protector. Haven't had things move. Flickering lights has been like the closest I've gotten. Apparently, as a child, I saw those as well, but that's just a story from my mom. The reality can only be perceived by whom has measured nothing and anything. We only notice the in between. I saw it simpler than you. I think that's nice. I think it sounds good. I believe the most simple way that I kind of explain it to myself is infinity, right? That there is this experience of infinity extending out from your perception, right? Where you are aware that you're living in an infinite universe. At least that's what we call it. It goes on forever. Hey, Jam. Hey, Phil. Hey, Jimmy. So nice to have you friends here. Perception is a lie. Yeah. So within this perception, just bear with me, there is infinity. And then you can close your eyes. You can plug your ears. You can stop yourself from smelling anything. You can stop yourself from tasting anything. You can lay in a floating tank that is body temperature water. And you can completely dissociate from your physical embodied existence. And then again, within that disembodied lack of perception, there is infinity again, right? Closed eyes, nothing going in, infinity. Open eyes, everything coming in, infinity. And you, as that crossing point of that infinity symbol, there is no separation. You are smack dab in the middle. I practice a daily ground, clear and protect, as well as cleanse my home regularly. I have multiple resources and I know I'm safe. To have lights flicker and sounds. We just care about you, Maxine. Again, otherwise we would just be ignoring whatever you were saying. I've been on my astral place. I've been on the astral place of you speak more so. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Maybe type it again, Delight. That scar, if you like it, it's a gift from Ryan, another friend that tunes into this space. It is nice, isn't it? It's one of my favorites. It's so big as well. A friend of mine, yeah, a friend of mine gave it. At the same, what a trip. What a trip. That's pretty trippy, actually, the synchronicity. Maxine, it seems like you should be careful, even if you want to talk to loved ones. I'm being careful, Dry. We love you. The unity, singularity. Whew. Will you tell me these incidents rise to the level of life disturbing scene? Tell me these incidents rise to the level of life disturbing. I was just reading about a flower remedy to help us connect with past loved ones. Let me see if I can find it again. Interesting. So why are all my extension cords tangled in a damn knot? Because clearly that's what you wanted, Joe. You wanted the experience of chaos as well, dude. Chaos in a way can make for some beautiful fractals, right? String theory, that potentially everything is a single string mushed up into itself. I don't know if I believe that, but it is an interesting one. Of course, nothing crazy is happening. There's a lot of stigma and unnecessary fear around talking to loved ones. Only thing coming to my mind is there is no separation. Fate is known and fate is woven, though never set in stone. He is Hare Krishna. Even more trippy, Jimmy. Chaos is life, entropy is death, left is left, right is right. Chaos is life, entropy is death. Only dead things don't move, and movement can be pretty chaotic. I agree, friend. Send up red sparks if you're one, if you need assistance. Sometimes it's beneficial to connect with the part of me that came to me when he passed, and I know that he loves me and values me. Sometimes I have a hard time with that. It's funny. I point out how the Buddhists learned to debate. It's an important skill to use your discernment to keep perspective. Yeah, perceptive. A beautiful point, Maulao. Hoopy. Forget me not flower essence is the one. Forget me not. Feeling is a big notifier when doing this. When he shows up, I feel love around me, not hate, not fear or something bad. I'm very intuitive when something feels off. I've left people's homes because of it. I could sense something is off, unrested. I'm actually untangling them during this conversation. There we go, dude. There we go. What a trip this stream has been. All right? Like we were talking about. So, Maxine, to encourage you, even though I don't want to, but I'm going to encourage you still, realize that death can be something that is dark, right? And that you can potentially bring the experience of light even into the death of a loved one. And you're doing that. And I believe that you're doing that. I, again, believe that human beings are divinely capable of that. That we have the ability to bring light even into something as hard as loss. And you can bring light even into something like summoning loved ones, let's call them. I will converse with you later and you will know. The light we already are, we always are. There is an infinity within infinity where me and you are sitting next to each other right now, having a conversation, all right, conversing, if you will. Maybe not that infinity, maybe not this infinity, but it is possible. I'll be posting a video in Discord about connecting with past loved ones so everyone can have a deeper perspective on it rather than viewing it as something to fear. Thank you all for caring about me. It's not something we're scared of, Maxine. It's not something we're scared of. Like, I have built bombs. I actually have built bombs. I love it. I love building bombs because there's a part of my masculine nature that likes destruction, right? Maybe I should say my humanity, right? But that part of me that would build bombs was a teenage self, was the self that was willing to take risks because of my, at that point, suicidal ideations as well. I didn't care about dying, so I could mess with things that could kill me, all right? And you might not care about inviting spirits into your home right now because there is this understanding you have about what it is you're doing, about the energy you're practicing with. And all I'm saying is be aware, be very aware. Memories imprint on all that is near, that repeats. The more neurons, the more computations. I mean, who doesn't like seeing things go boom? Exactly, Corey. Exactly. I've built, my dad used to work in the mining industry. and I asked him to bring me some blast caps. So an electric, like a electric blast cap that has like a little, charge onto it, and then it has wires. And I would run these wires away, and then you would connect it to a power source, and then the bombs I built would go boom. It was great fun. It was great fun. It really was. But it was dangerous. It was dangerous. Doesn't make it any less dangerous, right? And I could, in the same way you do, Maxine, I could practice mindfulness. I could clear my space. I could take the proper precautions to make sure I don't blow myself up. But that doesn't make the reality of the possibility of blowing myself up any less true. It may mean that I get to, choose. I get to be careful if I wanted to, but I'm still in that space. You are the variable in the computations of existence, and every moment after, and so are they. Say it out loud. I'm saying it out loud, friend. You are the variable in the computation of existence, and every moment after, and so are they. Yeah, it's you, in all forms, in all times, existing right now. Because there is no thing existing outside of now, right? That there is within this right now a Ken still alive. There is the life that the Ken you knew, Maxine, right? Like the past is still happening right now. Sure, we call it the past and we can look back on it and we cannot change it. But that past was experienced now. Now. Atura Taurus Sanctus. Atera Totus Sanctus. I don't know what that means. Quantum entanglement is true, though who controls it? You do, friend. You, by looking at my face, you are quantumly entangled with the way your brain computes depending on the stuff that I say, the way that I am. I mean, who doesn't like seeing things go boom? Building bombs and connecting with loved ones are two totally different experiences. I don't invite anything into my home. Ken came to me and continues to. I hear you, but in my mind, weirdly enough, Maxine, inviting spirits into your home is exponentially more dangerous than building bombs. Right? Weirdly enough, I feel like spirits, like I can take precautions with an explosive, right? I can make sure I don't get too close to it. I can make sure I have enough distance between me and it before I detonate. Na 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 na. When it comes to spirits, your body is a vessel to spirit, right? And your body has enough room for more than just your spirit as well, which is another weird thing. Though I must dash. Love you. It was nice having you here, friend. There's a handful of flower remedies for balancing the masculine and feminine within ourselves, Mel. How about that? Calamitous cheese. Diving into a comment or a topic that's going a little bit deep. We're talking specifically about how human beings has this ability to bring light into darkness, right? Fun into explosives, information into the dead, right? It's like collecting all of the loops. Okay, we're gonna pull a card. We have a few friends in this moment with us. Thank you for spending some time. I think we're gonna finish the stream. Let's see what Sacred Geometry says, especially with all of the topics we've been talking about. I feel like this stream was definitely a sensitive one, a little bit touchy. This one? Whoa. We pulled Firekeepers again. Upside down. I'm killing a tick, sorry. When was the last time we pulled Firekeepers? Today's stream was lit. How did you enjoy it, JV? I'm happy to hear that. I feel like a part of me feels a little bit like, am I supposed to be differently? Nah, thank you. for letting me know. There's room for more than one spirit thing is why I only talk to my dad. I trust him not to hurt me. I feel you. By the way, Meltmore explained information to me and I get it now. I love the reality. I love the reality. I'm gonna perpetuate that one as well. Firekeepers. Pulled this card again. This is an important one. Again, like today's whole stream topic was about bringing light into darkness, right? You keeping fire, the fire inside of your soul alive, is bringing light into darkness. The upside down meaning goes, has your enthusiasm grow cold of late? Continuously and consciously revitalize the fire of your vision. Fire is historically the source of protective warmth, light in the darkness, and heat for cooking, and was essential to the survival of the original peoples. Firekeepers hold a sacred responsibility both for the physical survival and the ceremonial spiritual protection of the community. Theirs is an essential and esteemed service. Triangles represent spirit, divinity, life, strength, harmony, and completion. The upward facing triangle is traditionally associated with fire, action, and the masculine. Three fires, warming many hands, invite you to warm to the understanding of these three levels of conscious personal mastery: physical awareness, mental intention, and spiritual evolution. Quick hello, just to say no to the ghost, okay? I'm saying yes to you, loving friend Shell. Thank you for joining us for even a moment. I do kind of feel like I should sage my house today, though. Do, please do. Sage your house. Ghosts are bad, okay? They're bad. Who knows? I don't know anything. I don't know anything. All I know is that there can be the experience of feeling like things are left undone, right? And that's what I believe is the condition that needs to be met for a ghost to be created. And people can, in hindsight, convince a ghost that things are left undone, then generate that ghost almost, right? And the feeling of things are left undone makes for this possibility to try and influence things to get done in a certain way. And that's where the whole manipulation of the physical body comes in. Makes me remember this here, I embody the phoenix. Yeah, let it burn away. Find yourself, reborn on the other side. Me looks at technology. It's so been told, it's the play. I've been using clarified butter. I'm so confused. Allah. Good. Good. Fire. I'm talking about my oil lamp. Ah, are you using clarified butter for your oil lamp? Can't be right, is it? Let me know. You are invited to become aware of the effects that your actions have on this physical plane. Maxine, you were talking about literally things moving in your house because of your actions, right? So, how your actions affect your physical plane. Are you living your bliss through your chosen vocation? Does your job contribute to the welfare of those around you as well as to your own needs? The welfare of those around you, including the spirits, right? Engage your mind and reflect on how the responsibilities you have chosen contribute to the whole of humanity. How might you more effectively engage your intentions to set in motion your vision of the future? And then finally, explore your connection to spirit and request to be of greater service to the divine will and the evolution of consciousness. This card is a card of action. Recognition of your sacred responsibility will help bring you into alignment with the purpose of your soul. I think I used the word responsibility a few times today again, that it is our responsibility to bring light, to be firekeepers, to be of service. It's a sacred responsibility. Explore your connection with spirit, right on the money, right? Like as I say, Maxine, none of us know what's going on. We just care about you and we want the best for you. We want to ensure your safety. And as I say, There's nothing outside of you, right? It's the same reason I don't perpetuate the belief systems of Christianity. It's the same reason I don't perpetuate the belief systems of, Hindu philosophy. I listen to all of these things. I learn from all of these things. But I realize that it's my sacred responsibility to be of service, all right, instead of to serve something else, someone else, some other spirit. Okay. Why can't it be right? It doesn't smell like butter. It's what if that? No, 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 no. I think if it smelled like butter, it'd be great. I was just. I think that sounds expensive. I think that's why I didn't think it was right. Was it card number 5? It was, Lolo. I give a damn. I ain't coming back here once I'm dead and gone. If I came back from the spiritual plane, it wouldn't be for, it wouldn't be for nothing nice. Yeah, that's what I think as well. Right? Like if I died and I come back as a spirit or as a ghost, what are my intentions gonna be? I'm probably gonna be either a weirdo or I'm gonna mess with people, from a place of being a little bit coy, like flick the light on and off. What's happening? I'm like, or the last one, and this is the one I think is closest to the accurate one. I would have some sort of unfinished business, and then I would want my business to be finished one way or another. Lol, right, Joy. I'm finally moved out of this place. Why the hell are you bringing me back here? If you start up negative experience, emotion, physical, anything, please tell the spirits to split. She is very powerful, fortunately, and I believe in her, and I believe in her safety. Thank you, friends. Thank you, friends, for showing up with me, for embracing this sacred responsibility is our ability to share light. The fire burning in each and every single one of our souls, exploding out, sending into every single direction infinitely at the speed of light yourself. Thank you for taking this delve, for feeling with me, for listening to the birds, for breathing some air, for seeing the beauty in your environment, for acknowledging yourself. Have a beautiful day, everyone. I love you all so very dearly, Mel, and all of you wonderful and powerful friends. Love you so much. Thank you, Shan, for sharing with us. Shelly, Corey, Hoopy. Thank you, friends. Even if I'm not saying your name directly, I love you. You look nice today, Mel. That's nice. Thank you, Joy B. I appreciate you saying that. Weirdly enough, I actually scrolled through the introduce yourself tab again and I looked at all of the photos of our eyeballs and I scrolled up far enough to see your smiling face as well, Joy V. And I just thought to myself, man, I love you. I love all of you. Lolo, until next time, friends. Back here tomorrow. I love you. I'll see you again very, very soon. It looks nice every day. I look extra nice today, Corey. I love you, friends. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing some time with me. I love you all. I love you, Maxine. If you're still here, I'm sorry if today's stream was uncomfortable. None of us were trying to attack you. Rambler, love you too. We just care about you. Right? And human beings do fear, right? Even though I don't like the word, and I know you don't like that word. We do fear the unknown, right? And summoning spirits into our home is as unknown as it gets. Love you too. Thank you, Maxine. Love you. Take care of yourself and your wonderful spirit. All of you do. I love you. See you again soon. Goodbye, everyone.